Talisman Skulls here, Orc Warlock, founder of Sidutru. This is part 7. This is the 3 holidays. To make it really quick, to show you where it's coming from, all you have to do is look at the Gothic circle in Germany to also understand that the folklore that states that we had 3 primary holidays only, which is stated even that goes back to the Roman times, before Catholicism that existed, that we only had 3 main holidays. Well, the Gothic circle proves that, and dates back to 5000 BCE, before the Common Era. So, there you go. So, here we go with what that was about. And this is carried on in folklore, and many of the cultures that still survive well into the present century maintain this basic premise. And if you look at the actual pre-New Age nonsense folklore, you will see this yourself. Something else that an actual legitimate warlock or witch will also tell you. Okay, here we go. Yuletide, the direction of the north, associated with Wultur, also called Ultur, Yulner, Yuler, and eventually Yule. So Yuletide is literally Wultur's time, Old Thor's time, Old Man Winter's time, otherwise known in folklore as Jack Frost, and the winter aspect of Godin, the good one. The second is associated with the southeast direction, and it is today's concept of May Day, with all the celebration, with the dance around the maypole, winding, unwinding, originally with 3 streamers, not all the different color ones now, representing 3 goddesses associated with our friend of aspect of Godin, as what has been called Freyr, which means friendly, in the masculine, and not a counterpart as the Vedas have, who's also known as Loki, also known as Loka, and Loco, and Luca, and not the one that you find in the Edic myths that basically tied it to Lucifer concepts. And his name means literally the same as the end of the name Warlock, hence when he was demonized in that aspect. Warlocks were considered guardians of the people that served Loki, and therefore Lucifer. And it comes from a play on words as follows. Since Lock means bond, it was claimed in the Eddas, it meant he was the bound one, as in bound in hell, rather than just simply the one who reinforces the bonds in the sense of marriage. Really easy word pun play there. The other fact is saying that he's looking out for souls to steal comes from the fact that the name is tied to look, as in being watchful and open and welcoming of people. Join in the celebrations and the festivities of new life everywhere, and associated with healing, healing herbs and trees like black willow, and where we get aspirin from, things like that, from the bark. And also, what's the other form? Oh, luck is also the core of his name, which literally means the lucky one in that sense, as in the one who brings you blessings. As luck in that context meant blessings, but was used in the sort of trickster context falsely, that he is both good luck on one side, but it always turns bad ultimately. So it was basically trying to discredit the concept from blessing to arbitrarial, adversarial gameplay, where he'd give you good luck for a while, but then you'd have to sell your soul and pay the price. So anyway, since luck was also part of it, it was tried to be, well, it basically was tied falsely to the Latin source lux, L-U-X, and associated with like names like Luxor. And you already know Luxor is associated with Egypt. Well, here's one for you. Loki wasn't, of course. But in the minds of Snorri Sturluson and those who decide to play off that later, they figure, oh, Luxor, Loki, Lucifer. Oh, that's it. Loki must actually be Lucifer. That makes so much sense now and explains why he's associated with goats in their springtime rut being horny as hell. Oh, that perverted little green guy with a fucking huge dick and everybody dancing around his wooden phallus. Those freaky bastards. They're all at an orgy now. That's where the orgy thing kind of got played in off of. But the people themselves weren't actually out there fucking willy-nilly. That's just idiots and a whole lot of other crap. If you know anything about actually native cultures and everything else, that's when they found their partners and they had, you know, their sport on seeing who they could catch to be their partners, or if they already had their partner, that was part of the game of the chase. But it wasn't anything else. But they later tried to tie it to the Roman Lupercalia and added more bits to it that wasn't there. And then, of course, a healthy dose of throwing the so-called Dionysus mysteries into the mix, as the Romans presented it, and basically tried to make Loki into that. It was an aspect of Godin. So that's also where you actually get the old lore where they say that those dirty pagans, which people never called themselves pagans anyway, those dirty naked pagans call God the devil and the devil God. So you see they were playing that angle. But anyway, Loki literally means the lucky one, the binding one, and the watchful one, more or less. And was associated, like I said, with new life, marriage, the chase, and basically just having a good time and partying like anybody going out for a Saturday night fun. It was basically Godin and his partying guy aspect, and wanting everybody to just relax, have fun, and welcome new life. It wasn't all this excessive, you know, fetish shit that you see now. People were not that immoral. Well, amoral, for that matter. They had customs for a reason. Anyway, so then you move on over to the third, which is associated with the Southwest, which is the Harvest Festival. And this was the third holiday, and was associated with Godin in the form of the Hernen, the horned one, and also known as Grimnar, where we get the word Grim Reaper. So it was kind of trying to tie. Others later basically tried to tie the Saturn figure, like Father Time kind of thing, to the Grimnar aspect of Godin, and made it more of a negative, and turned him into God of the Slain, when it was originally associated with the legitimate actual hunting and selecting of which animal will be slaughtered for preservation of food. It's not like everybody had fucking refrigerators back then and could just go down to the local supermarket, give 10, 20 bucks for overpriced meat when they were literally getting it right off the hoop that they were raising themselves. So the slaughter wasn't just for the sake of killing the animals to appease Godin and goat sacrifice because he delighted in blood. That's not the real deal at all. But hey, think about who the people were that were writing all the nasty stuff and why they were doing that. So anyway, the associations there are pretty clear, and in folklore, these three aspects of Godin, God, were expressed in the concept of Old Man Winter, known as Jack Frost for the Yuletide, later called Father Christmas, and not the Santa Claus figure of St. Nicholas merged with that originally. That's actually a fallacy. It was actually invented from Catholic sources, no less. And he wasn't wearing a red suit. That was invented by the Coca-Cola Company in the 1930s. Loki was remembered as Robin Goodfellow, the Green Man of the Woods. And as you see from all the old Green Man images, a pretty cheery figure, you know. But they try to tie it on purpose to try and, again, push people away from it by associating the fact that, you know, over here, Loki or Loka must also be Polka or Puck. So he must also be the same thing as Pan over from Arcadia. So, and that thing was just a total curve and would fuck goats, himself being half goat. So, since they call God the devil and devil God there with that aspect, yeah, they must be all into some really freaky shit. Let's throw in some Dionysus mythology and claim it's the mystery cult of orgies, ripping people apart and just spread it out and make it some really twisted fucking nightmarish fantasy. Use all the stuff that was used by the Romans that was accused of Christians, including cannibalism and baby eating. And let's project it on them now. So it was that source that actually mixed the Pan and the Faunus concepts with the Loki imagery, and then came up with the Lucifer whatever bullshit. But anyway, yeah, that's the Green Man of the Woods aspect, Grimner the Grim Reaper, and Ulthur as another aspect of Godin as Old Man Winter, Jack Frost. And that's pretty much it. Winter was a time of giving gifts to people that were coming to the Pinewood Forest to get out of the cold, open plains area. Springtime was also the time for not only collecting the new herbs and medicinal plants for people, but a time for people to meet up, pick their partners, that, you know, for the whole year and a day thing. And there were actually legitimate customs in place that were not just a bunch of wild orgies. And those who were already married did not participate in those celebrations, and that's actually true. But it was a time to also celebrate the breaking of new ground and planting new seeds. So you can understand the metaphor of planting seeds from the male aspect of things, and the plow also having a sexual connotation of the you know, barren, fertile earth. And then, you know, the hunt and the harvest connection is pretty damn obvious. It's the beginning of that cycle and period when hunting starts taking over and agriculture begins, when you need to start getting food resources to start storing up for the coming cold season. So there you go. That's the three actual holidays. And again, it's proven not only in the folklore, the legitimate folklore, but also in the very archaeology, to a structure that dates back to 5000 BC for certain. So, Talisman Skulls, on to number 8.